Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. On this episode, Taylor and I sit down to review the 2025 Mass Bay Guides charter fishing season. It's been a bit since recording our last podcast, and it felt really good to sit down and talk fishing. Since our season ended, we have spent the past couple of months focusing on family time and relaxing during the holidays. In this conversation, we discuss our experiences and what we learned during each phase of our fishing season last year. We talk about the early migration striped bass fishing, shad fishing, summer and fall tuna fishing, and the amount of shark bycatch that we had last season. 2025 was hands down one of our most challenging years of fishing in our area, especially in regards to tuna fishing. We theorize and explain our best educated guesses on why we didn't see consistent tuna fishing in Massachusetts Bay last year. This was also our first fishing season without our father, old Greg, in the mix. He's still around, he's doing well, but some medical issues impacted him prior to our fishing season and he couldn't be with us on the water. It was great to sit down as brothers, talk fishing, hunting, just catch up. We're both very excited to get season 7 of the SeaBros podcast going. There are some great guests and topics lined up for this year. As always, thank you all for listening and for the support. Enjoy. Welcome to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast, where we follow 3 words of wisdom. You can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight.
That's the real one. Get up there, man. All right, get down low. All right, that real good. We doubled up. We doubled up. All right. Am I coming off or what? Get that down. Don't get on that rock right here.
All right, we're recording.
Sweet.
Oh, here we go.
Well, that's the 2025 report.
Yeah. I don't know. What should we talk about? We should do season recap.
Yeah.
Season recap, lessons learned, new things that we saw.
Epic catches. Weird things that happened.
Weird
Can we
things
talk
that
about how
happened.
many people brought bananas on the boat this year?
A lot.
Like way more than normal. It's like there's someone behind the scenes training our clients to bring bananas. Like on purpose.
I know.
Like straight sabotage.
I feel like we need to put it on the front page of the website, no bananas. A little sticker somewhere.
NoBananas.com.
I don't want to visit that.
That could be
Or maybe
good,
I
though.
do want to visit
Maybe
that.
you do want to visit that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of bananas this year. I can recall at least half a dozen.
Yeah, and like the whole crew too.
Yes.
Not just
Bushels of
not just like a single individual, like the whole charter was eating a banana before we left the dock, but on the boat.
Yeah.
And we just told them that, we're not going to catch anything, so.
I do feel slightly bad when I am too hard on the customers and I make them all eat their bananas before we leave. I'm pretty sure I caused one crew to get seasick because of that.
Seasick people.
Yeah. we had quite a few seasick people. Well,
Dude.
It was pretty windy late season.
Yes.
I feel like most of the seasickness came late season.
Yeah. I mean, we had those amazing clients from New Mexico.
Yeah. They're hunting guides there.
Right. That planned the trip for like 3 years. And granted, we had a hurricane.
Yeah,
And there
it
was
was
some
just, It was just
swells.
poor timing.
And, but anyways.
That trip was kind of, in summary, what the year was. Like
Yeah.
that one day. I can go back. I can talk about the day, and you can fill in anything that I forget. But
Yeah.
they're great dudes.
Right.
We were super pumped. The conditions on paper looked amazing.
Right.
And we got out there and it like really didn't look that amazing when we got out there. And then we were
Summary of last year.
Summary of the whole year.
Right.
And they got seasick pretty much when we were catching bait.
Yep.
And then as soon as we got on anchor and put the rods in the water, they wanted to go home.
Right.
Which is how we kind of felt all year.
Yeah, pretty much.
With the fishing anyways, not with the people on the business side of things.
We also can't be too Debbie Downer-ish because
No, I'm not
other than the tuna aspect,
I just think it's funny.
it is.
You know?
I felt like we had to try very hard this year overall. Like, I feel like it was the most effort we've ever had to put into fishing
Yes, agreed.
for everything.
For everything.
Every species.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom fishing was meh. The fall bottom fishing was great. Mm-hmm. The bass fishing was awesome on paper. Like, if you look back at our trips, like, we did great. Mm-hmm. But you and I talking like every day, we're like,
Big fish.
to push
big
hard.
fish wise, it was
was
one
good.
of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
years, I would say. But as far as overall numbers of fish to the boat, like if we were to go back and look, it was definitely down.
yeah.
Like river-
locally for us.
Locally for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tricky. I mean, even starting from like the very beginning of, we really didn't have any epic herring topwater craziness.
No.
We had like a couple days that were okay. I had one day. I went in
One morning.
for like an hour.
Yeah.
It was okay. Never had those like massive schools way up on the river going nuts like we do almost every single year. Water temps were cold overall.
That was, I think, the biggest factor in
Yeah.
this whole season. I think we can talk about theories and trends and all that as we get into this conversation a little bit more, but that I think was the biggest
Yeah.
change.
And it was a struggle too, because like we'd go out knowing we kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we never had many days. So I didn't have many days that I went out like being like, all right, this is going to be an epic day. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, all right, we have to be in this spot at this tide. We got an hour to catch fish. And then we got to go over here at this part of the tide. We got 45 minutes to catch fish. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many trips did you have where you had like an hour of good fishing out of 5 hours?
Almost every one of them.
Yeah. I
Almost
mean, it ended up
every one.
smoothing out throughout the year. Like,
Things eventually got settled.
right. And I don't know why that is. I'm assuming it's because we had the cold winter, like you said. But what are some of the bass trips that you remember from last year that...
River and early season bass trips. For us, we say river, but the herring stuff, the early migration stuff, I feel like it started on time. There was a lot more herring way up in the river than I remember like the year before that, which kind of explained why I feel like we had such short windows for catching bass.
Right.
Remember, we were talking about the herring being way up, and then that was actually the best bite was actually timed with like halfway through the outgoing tide.
Yeah.
You catch like that tail end of it,
I mean, do you think there was just so many herring and kind of an okay amount of bass that they just were
that's what
full so fast?
That's what I think.
Just short bites.
I don't think it was as many bass, and I think it was a lot of bait.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the bait fishing inshore was okay. We had less sea herring inshore this year for sure. Mm-hmm. Like usually we can catch a lot of sea herring while we're bait fishing, like prepping for the bass season. Because we use a lot of dead bait for our bass trips just because we're fishing inshore, in Situate, the North River and the rocks and all that stuff. So we're using a lot of dead bait, but combined with catching live bait. We definitely caught way less herring, sea herring, less tinker mackerel to start, right?
But then it got good.
Then it got really good. We kind of found a few spots that were like holding good bait consistently.
And the bass stayed with it.
Yeah.
We didn't really see, like, at least in our neck of the woods, like our side of Massachusetts Bay, I guess you want to say that. I feel like the mackerel was the key ingredient this year and not necessarily the pogies.
Right.
Like there was a lot of pogies.
Oh yeah, but
it
the bass
insane.
never really hammered them that much.
We had a couple days like in the bay when we were messing around, flying around, trying to play whack-a-mole with tunas.
And obviously Plymouth and Duxbury, they were eating pogies.
Yeah.
But like not like it was the last few years.
Yeah. It seemed like there was less bass on the pogies, but more tuna on the pogies, which may have caused the bass to be off the pogies and be on the mackerel more. You know? Just too much competition.
Right.
But there was a lot of bait. But you'd expect, I feel like we'd expect like that ribbon of pogies that was all the way up through Massachusetts Bay the whole summer, from early summer to late summer, early fall. I didn't run into that many bass blowing up like in that, like on the way home from the bank or way home from Race Point or Peaked Hill when we went there, tip of Cape Cod. Never, like you'd expect to be running into foamers of bass on your way home with that amount of bait, but it was really just the bait. And then you'd occasionally, you know, see a tuna blow up in it if you were there at the right time.
Yeah. And not a lot of those bay roaming bass either. Like, I feel like years past we could go out and just hammer fish kind of in the middle of the bay, trolling X-Raps and stuff. We had some days like that, but it wasn't what it was. And, you know, there's all these rumors about like the bass population, all that stuff, and I don't really know what to believe. And I mean, obviously there's the science behind it, and there's also what we see and what everybody else sees. And there's certain places in Mass that are just like too many bass. And there's certain places that last year that we were like a big question mark were, you know, the small fish for us.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's 100. We've 100% noticed there's less
small
way
ones.
less micros, way less under 24 to 22 inch fish.
Right.
You know?
And was that a water temp thing? You know, like I was thinking about that. The colder water temps last year.
They can't tolerate it
as much, maybe.
Yeah. Or
you know?
is it just a year class thing?
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
It could be a combination.
Then you go up into Canada and they have a lot of that 24 to 25, 27 inch stuff.
Yeah. Going up, way up. But it is warmer there though.
Yeah. Their water was warmer than ours.
Right.
Their water was, I mean, aside from their early spring and lobster when it's, you know, they're ice fishing up there. But once they got into July, August, September, their water was much warmer than ours.
Yeah.
Even when I was up there, whenever I was up there, was that October when I went up there, very beginning of October.
Yep.
It was 5 to 7 degrees warmer than what you were fishing down here.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that was the biggest factor. We've been so spoiled too. Like if you look at the last, and I say we, I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of the people that fish in our area.
Right.
I feel like the 5 years leading up to this past season, it was
insane.
Aside from ground fish.
Yeah.
You know, consistent bass, very consistent tuna fishing.
You say that though, but we had some insane inshore haddock fishing. Like
that was before that.
4 or 5 years ago.
That was just before that 5-year run.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Yep.
I just think it was an off. I hope it's not the start of a new trend, but I just have this feel. My gut's telling me it's kind of an anomaly sort of year, especially in regards to tuna fishing.
Because there's tunas everywhere. I mean, they're filling even this quota.
Yeah.
Like they're a weekend.
I just don't think
filled.
they came in. I just don't think they came in and patterned like inshore ground.
Did you see some of the tagging info?
Everything was like George's
it
to
goes
chat
around Mass.
Around Massachusetts Bay.
Insane.
Most of the tagging stuff, not that there's been hundreds of recoveries, but like the handful of recoveries.
Right. None of them even went in a match.
The shearwater tagging showed the exact same thing.
Yeah, the
too.
shearwater was interesting because like it's almost like Mass Bay had a force field around it.
It really did.
From like honestly Peaked Hill, which is the backside of the tip of the Cape, all the way through Jeffries, curving in, was just seemed like dead zone for life.
Agreed.
And what's weird was we had a good amount of life like east, southeast of the bank for several weeks.
Inconsistent though.
Yeah,
it was moving
there one day,
it
gone
was
the
in
next. Yeah,
400 feet one day, and then 180 the next day, and then down along the beach the next day, and then way offshore the next day.
Yeah.
My-
Before we get into tuna,
Yeah.
we need to go way back
Okay.
and talk about your shad season,
Oh yeah, I had a nasty shad season.
right?
We did. All of us did.
I mean, I caught some fish.
you
but
hooked a lot. You lost a lot though.
You absolutely obliterated all of us.
Yeah.
I think you had one night you caught 3 or 4, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, it's
I could've
my
been
time.
wrong on
I
that.
had 4 years in a row
Without catching a shad.
catching one.
I know.
And then the last 2 years,
Yeah.
I think the biggest, I mean, it's so much luck and like fighting someone for the right hole.
The biggest was what? Go ahead, say it.
What do you mean?
I know what you're going to say. It was the spoon.
Oh yeah, the spoon is legit.
Yeah. Who started that trend?
You started that
started the trend.
But my retrieve, I
Yeah.
feel like I've mastered. And the water, and we're starting to figure out the water level and
the weight.
the weight you need.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. Like you almost want to feel like it's stuck. Like you cast the dart with
Yeah.
the spoon. I don't want to give away too much information.
Yeah, we can't. No, we can't be telling our shad.
You cast
secrets.
your rig.
tuna. We'll tell all those
Yeah.
secrets. Shad, no.
You cast your rig.
Yeah,
And we're not feather merchants. We're using spinning gear.
Right.
You cast your
course.
rig, you reel till you're tight, you let it sit for a minute, and then you sweep, let it hit, reel tight, sweep, let it hit, reel tight. You basically want it to fall, hit the bottom, reel your slack just barely tight.
Yeah,
And then
and
you
pop it up.
And then you pop it up and move it. And most of the bites you're feeling when you have that taut line is when the fish is around the line. Like you either
Yeah.
feel the thing swat at the dart or you feel it like the line hit the fish and kind of spooked it. And then that's when you feel that like extra little grab. That's when you usually just hook them on your next sweep. Like as soon as you feel that da-dun, or like just feel a little bit more tension, that next sweep is usually when you hook them.
and usually you think you're on the bottom.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and
it
then it
just starts
wiggles and
dumping.
goes.
We had one night where it was
Me,
like
you,
last light.
Bill, and somebody else.
No, when it was just you and I last light, and then everyone showed up late. We went early, and it was like orange sky.
Yeah,
and it was like the perfect water height.
That was
for
your first
strip.
completion.
Yeah, this year was my first completion, but that was nasty. We had like 5 bites in like 20 minutes,
Yes.
and they were all running upriver.
right, and then it was dead. Right.
Yeah, and then it was dead after that. Like we hit it. I think Bill got one later.
Right.
When he showed up. But that like the early, like right at sunset, it was nasty. Usually it's late. I feel like usually our
Right.
prime time
Like
is
9 to 11
9 to 11,
at night.
depending on the tide and everything, and water height.
No, it was impressive.
Yeah.
You know,
I caught one
were
real
just-
big one too.
You caught a big one. Mm-hmm. At one point, it seemed like every 2 or 3 casts you were hooking one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was cool.
The secret is to tell people to go somewhere else. And
Yes.
you
should go try down there.
yeah, go down there. We'll text and let me know how it is. And then
No, there's no doubt that there's a few spots that I don't know if it's the angle of the cast. It's probably the angle of the cast mixed with a funnel of where the fish come through and the time of day.
yeah.
And it's like if you get those 3 lined up, just like anything else, you have more consistency. But like for those that have never American shad fished, especially at night, the way we're doing it,
And it's a lot different where we're fishing in
Right.
comparison to like the Connecticut River guys and people to the south. It's a lot.
they're fishing deeper water.
Deeper
I mean,
water.
we're in like the most 3 feet.
Yeah.
Everything's
Absolute most.
sometimes it's like 6 inches of
knee
water.
deep, knee deep to like shin
Right.
high water.
Yeah, and it's fun. It
is
takes some patience and a little bit of psycho
The muscle.
mentality.
I'll give away one secret.
Oh, the mussels.
The
yeah.
mussels is a secret.
Yeah, so there's mussels in this river that we're fishing, freshwater mussels. And if you're jigging like just the right way as you're retrieving, if you're not bringing in a mussel every once in a while, you're doing it wrong.
You're on the wrong bottom.
Yeah,
basically.
on the wrong bottom, or not going like slow enough or
Yeah.
whatever, like not letting it sink fast enough. Anyways, I
Yeah,
just feel like we had to bring that up before we got into tuna.
Shad fishing was really good this year. It was fun. A couple years ago, we got rained out. The year before was pretty good. This past year was good. There was way more herring up there this year than the year before.
Yeah, and that's
Tons
what
of
kind of gave us the info regarding striper fishing.
Yeah,
you know,
on
it's
that
like,
early
are they
side.
coming out? They're just coming out late. Like we had a few bass trips that we didn't even see a bass until like the last hour of the tide.
Yeah. And
was
you'd see them on your machine
And they wouldn't touch
for
anything.
the whole, like most of the outgoing.
Yeah.
And then you'd get to peak current and they'd feed for like an hour. You know,
Yeah.
they'd be ambushing whatever. If you were in the right, spot in the river, they'd all stack up there and then feed for like an hour. And then it seemed like they moved back up.
One thing I just thought of was the water quality in the river and the way that they were eating the baits. Do you remember where we were taking a mackerel and like the only way to get a bass to come to your bait was to like cast it as high as it could, smash the water, and it had to be like a green feisty mackerel.
Yeah, and cause some
And
commotion.
you'd get one chance, like a bass would come up and it almost like they were killing it and not wanting to eat it. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was a huge thing, just getting like tons of baits and like you had to just change your bait all the time to get bites, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like we had beautiful tinker mackerel some days and they wouldn't touch them.
Yeah, you'd struggle, but a good trip would be like a dozen to 20 fish.
Yeah.
And
I think
on
that
like a
goes
4
back
hour.
to like, were they full?
Yeah.
You know?
Or is there just so much herring that they could tell the difference and didn't want to
Crazy.
waste their energy on a mackerel?
Right.
It got better though. It got really good.
Yeah.
It was very consistent all summer near us,
Oh yeah.
especially with bigger fish. And in near shore too. Like not necessarily out in that 100
big
foot,
ones.
120, that deeper water. I know that there was bites out there and days that were really good out there, but it was very consistent
Yeah.
inside. And it seemed like they were really the only predators on those mackerel.
Right. So we started tuna fishing actually kind of earlier this year. Right? Like I feel like usually we push clients
To July.
mid-July. Don't book until, mid-July on, which the past several years, late June was so good that it was like, well, you're taking a chance, but it has been good. Mm-hmm. And it was not good.
It was not good. We didn't catch our first fish until
End of July.
end of July. Yeah, we just pulled the first Fortuna tail
Right.
out. It was like July 27th or something.
Yep.
20th. Look at my pics and see if I
I mean,
can
that
figure
being
it out.
said, I lost one prior to that.
Yep.
I had another bite on the way home in the pogies prior to that. Had 2 bites trolling that didn't get the hook bait. Mm-hmm. It's like we had a couple actions, but it was painful getting going.
Yeah.
I mean, we were seeing fish every single day on the way to and from everywhere we went. They just wouldn't eat a hook bait. They shouldn't say they wouldn't. It was hard to get them to eat a hook bait.
Yeah. We've done podcasts on this before, but the pogies really, I just think, changed the behavior so much.
Yeah.
Especially, you got a bigger fish, first off,
Right. Smart fish.
smarter fish, and you've got this bait source that is everywhere, but a lot of it was small.
Yeah, you couldn't catch it.
You couldn't
even snag it.
You couldn't, it was, you could snag them, but they were tiny.
Right. That's what like you couldn't get baits.
Yeah, you couldn't snag like good size baits.
Right.
It would take a long time to. Anyways.
Yeah. So we had to be millions, probably
Hundreds
probably
of
a billion.
millions.
of these, like, I'm going to say they're 3 to 5 inch long pogies. Tiny little skinny backs. Like, they look like shad that you would see in like Georgia for largemouth, like these little tiny shad things. And it was just like impossible to replicate it. They didn't really want a mackerel. They didn't even really want a big pogie.
And they can fill up so fast.
Right. Short feeding windows. The way that bait was in the water column, it would be pinned to the surface, which is ideal situation for them to fill up quick. Is a bald bait situation that pushes to the surface, in my mind anyways. So they'd fill up and it'd be really hard. I mean, there was random bites, and there was definitely more bites as you got into like late August, early September, kind of like when the drifting live pogie thing typically starts to get better. Right.
But they were on them in there from June on.
Yeah.
You know, and
not really on the bank or like Jeffries.
Like you'd see a fleet of guys, you know, spread out from, you know, essentially P-Town to the canal north up to us. You know, there'd be 20, 30, 40, 50 boats spread out in that early season time frame, and you'd hear or see like maybe a bite or like maybe one or two actions in that whole area.
Chases.
Yeah, like that's nuts. You'd expect it to be more.
When you're seeing them every day.
When you're seeing them
sometimes like all day.
I just don't necessarily think it was that many fish.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was hundreds of fish, not thousands of fish, in my opinion. You know, like, I never saw a feed that was really more than like, I know there were feeds that were more than this from talking to other people. But like, personally, I didn't see one of those pogie feeds with more than like 3 to 5 fish on it. You know?
Yeah, I think like when they're on herring and max on the bank, they might be a little more spread out. But I think it's like dozens of fish.
Yeah.
Coming through in a wall type of thing.
I agree.
You know, 50 to 100 fish coming through.
And they're ambushing it differently. They need to.
Yeah.
You know, there's more current out there typically.
Right.
You know, depending on the tide cycle. But there's more current. It pins down usually, especially the herring. Mackerel,
that's the big difference.
You know,
Goes
so
down.
like as a you know, predator, I feel like you're saying, they're kind of more spread out and strategic when they're on that bait source. And then when they're on the pogies, it's like they're everywhere. So all they have to do is keep tabs on like some. And then they, you know, work in small groups to get that bait pinned. It's not like it takes 12 fish to like herd a big school of mackerel on the edge on the bottom. You know what I mean? There's just more wolf packs than herds, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
At least what we saw.
It was so confusing.
It was so confusing.
You
but
know,
we learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was so confusing to the point that we were trolling plugs going 12 knots through the schools on the way home.
P.S. I just saw a few guys getting giants on the plugs that I bought in the Carolinas. Where they're in pogies inshore.
No shit.
Yep.
It makes sense.
They look just like them.
They do.
Anyways, I want to, if they do that again early season, I'm going to do a little more trolling. I think a couple bars and a few plugs, or 2 ballyhoo, 2 plugs. I think your odds are better when it's a few fish. Like, you can potentially get in on them while they're feeding.
Yeah. And stay away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, like, especially for the rod boats trying to get in on those feeds when you saw them. It was, if you were already fishing, it was nearly impossible to get there on time.
Right.
And then when you got there, you had like one deployment, and then they'd either avoid you or go away. You'd mark them on the machine. Like, you'd still see the pogie school that they were on, but they would feel the pressure come into that school.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like you had to pretend you were a harpoon boat with rods ready.
Yeah.
To get the best shot. Like, they come up, they blast it out of the water, you steam over, kind of get in front of where they're pushing the school, throw a rod out, and hope that they peel off it. Like, we had one great opportunity with that. The thing blasted it off its head and didn't get the bait. But I know a few guys did that, you know, just like bombing up, throwing the kite up, getting the kite in them. I know Mike Murphy did that, I believe, in one fish.
Yeah. Ben and I had a similar miss. Like Ben had been out the afternoon before and saw life all come together on a certain part of the tide.
Yeah.
So we timed our day to kind of end in that same spot, and the exact same thing happened. And then we saw like a 600 pounder on one school of bait, and we I had the engines off and I slow trolled over there using the trolling motor, and like basically trolled my balloons. And then I had that old trick.
Oh yeah,
and then
that gets them every time. And 60% of the time, every time.
And then Ben ran up on the bow with a rod and a bait and a bucket.
Yeah,
and we got up right to the edge of the school and like he was just humming it like over and over and feeding, just trying to like put a split in the school.
Right.
And the thing wanted no part of it. Like it was still there. You could tell it was still there. And then like I'm sitting there like creeping, trying to stay on the same school, stay on the edge of it. You know, I actually got to the point where I didn't move that much, and I was able to like almost skirt the whole edge of it with the trolling motor and get my floats right in it. And I was like, it's so frustrating. And then we're just like, we'll just drift. And I shut everything off. Like 20 minutes later, not even close to the bait school, the fish. The same exact size. I was maybe 50 to 100 yards off the bait school because we were drifting with it at that point.
Huh.
But yeah, it was frustrating.
Yep. And it was tough too because like you had a chance of catching a fish every day starting mid-June. Like you could go out and catch one.
Yeah.
But like it just felt like you couldn't.
It was just it was just hard. It was just, it's less hook time when you're trying to fish that way.
Yeah.
You're worried about your baits a lot more because you're drifting and you've only got a handful of like the right size in your mind. So you're like, just there were times where you were too cautious because you didn't have enough good sized baits to like continue for the rest of the day, or you were overly aggressive and not having enough hook time to increase your odds. It was like a double-edged sword,
right?
Hence
why I hate pogies.
Yeah. The SeaBros Fishing Podcast is brought to you by Monahan's Marine. Monahan's has been serving South Shore boaters since 1961. Located in Weymouth, Massachusetts, Monahan's is a Jones Brothers, Tidewater, Invincible, and Onslow Bay boats retailer. They also have the most well-stocked inventory of Yamaha outboards, parts, and rigging throughout the state. The entire staff and crew of technicians have decades of experience. As a recent addition, Monahan's has built and rigged out a brand new 4,000 square foot offshore and inshore tackle shop. They are fully stocked with everything needed for offshore canyon fishing, nearshore bluefin tuna fishing, striped bass fishing, surf fishing, and more. For decades, the crew at Monahan's has been helping generations of boat owners with outboard parts, boat service, marine equipment, and fishing tackle. Their professionalism and passion for being on the water has made them one of the most reputable boating headquarters in the Northeast. As a part of this partnership, Monahan's Marine is offering all listeners to our podcast a discount on anything in their store. When shopping at Monahan's, if you mention this podcast or use promo code MBG25 at checkout at the register, you'll receive 10% off any purchase in their tackle or marine department. To learn more about Monahan's Marine, their location, boat and engine inventory, or parts, visit monahansmarine.com.
Yep. So once we got into like late July, you had a few clients that wanted to go long distance.
Yeah, July 23rd.
You did a few Chatham trips.
We had 1 week. We went there 3 times. We got 2 fish.
And then what's funny is we had a bite each time you went down there.
Yeah.
Up here, but again, kind of random. A different spot each time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bite like 3/4 of the way to Nauset. Then we had a bite on Southeast Corner. And then I'm trying to think when the next bite was. Middlebank, I think.
I just think a lot of that was they were skirting those areas. I think that some fish were skirting those areas all year, but
Right.
really like the biomass was coming from way to the east, and it was spending more time Chatham South
With all the eels.
with all the eels. It was coming in, spending more time Chatham South, like Rhode Island, you know, whatever. That same contour, basically, all the way down and around. The shoal side of the continental shelf, we'll put it that way.
I do have to say, too, though, the bait, the mackerel, were like nothing I've ever seen my whole life this year. Remember, we could literally catch a mackerel
Anywhere.
at the Bell Buoy to 40 miles east.
Yeah,
Go all
anywhere.
the way past Wildcat, catch mackerel on the surface, all the way down to Chatham. Mm-hmm. Like you could stop anywhere on the backside between 100 to 350 feet of water and catch mackerel on the bottom.
Yep.
Almost everywhere.
Yep.
And that's what it felt like for 3/4 of the season. It was insane.
Crazy.
And
All sizes, too.
Like where I couldn't believe, like there just has to be, there had to have been a ton of bait even further. And that's why these fish just didn't come in, because they didn't have to.
My theory, and I've told this, I've said this to you a handful of times. Ben and I were nerding out about this, but I think with the colder water, it's easier for them to ambush and get below their prey in the deeper water when it's cold.
When it's cold.
So, like, how do I give an example of this? So we're so used to seeing them like come through on the bottom third of the water column, like when it's getting fishy on the edge and they're eating going up, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like they prefer eating going up.
Right.
No matter what. It's just what they prefer to do. If you look at the animal, it's the most camouflaged on the top. So it makes sense for them to eat going up. So if you have more water underneath you and all of the water isn't the right temperature, don't you think you'd be able to get below the bait easier?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the bank is probably freezing cold for them. Mm-hmm. Top to bottom.
It makes sense, but it doesn't, because then you think of like Chatham and we were fishing in like 280 to 400 and you'd be marking bait on the bottom and fish would be streaking up from.
Yeah, but it could just be a different temperature than you think. Like, you know, that bottom temperature break may have just held on the bank, you know, west of the bank all the way inshore. Because like we still had some days it was like 50-degree water at the mouth of the river. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of that's from west wind, that cold water pulling in from underneath, pushing the warm water, you know, east, essentially. So it replenishes with cold water, and that could have just been what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're getting that probably in the 40s degree water on the bottom on the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I heard talks from some of the lobster fishermen that through like mid to late July, they were still getting bottom temps of 40 degrees.
Yeah.
In the 40 range, I should say.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Weird for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. I can't really speak to it, but there are some guys that were posting and talking about the Labrador current and shifting and haven't seen it in X amount of years. And that's the reason why the water's colder. And every time they've seen this happen, the guys have been fishing a lot longer than we have.
Yeah.
Have seen similar patterns when this has happened before. But again, that's about all I know of it.
But all that being said, we had a few fish we got good money for in the beginning of the year.
And overall prices were better.
Right.
Less fish, but prices were better. Not that really, matters much.
Yeah. But it all closed the same time.
Yeah.
Everything closed the same dates roughly.
It's just so much effort.
Yeah.
And there were areas that were good. The windmills and all that. That's a whole nother theory.
Oh, yeah. Is that just the fence?
Yeah. Is that like truly already a fad?
Yeah.
Like, is
just
it
holding bait, holding whatever, and these fish
I never
just
went there, and I know guys had
there.
epic trips down there. Excuse me. But I mean, it would make sense. It's in a great fishy area, and now you've just added more structure.
Right.
And it's easier access from the east than going all the way inside to where we are.
but there's a lot of pressure there too. I mean, we'll see what happens next year. If it happens again like that,
Yeah.
you know. But overall, we did okay. I think we, ended up with probably half as many fish as we did prior. But
all things considered, and talking to people in our network, like I've still felt consistent for the fishing that we experienced this year. We were as consistent as we could be.
Yeah.
Given how many fish were around and what the conditions were.
Like when there were some fish around that were biting, we caught them.
Yeah.
We had to move around a lot though. I mean, there was like a 2-3 day bite somewhere and then a 3 to 5 day bite somewhere, and spots in the past, like Middle Bank never turned on really. There was a few bites there.
I think a lot of those bites were just coming in and out.
Random. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, basically a travel corridor.
Yeah. Seemed like southwest corner, southeast corner, and northwest corner, kind of the three hotter general area.
And in the bay.
In the bay,
in
obviously.
Late August, early September,
Yeah.
they actually, the pogies started going down. You were marking them on the bottom.
Right.
It was like typical bay fishing. There was less pogies around too.
It was typical, but not.
It wasn't
Like
near.
we were marking how many wolf packs a Giants to be marked without getting bit.
During the tournament, I was like, I felt like I was like, I need to just quit. I think I marked like 14 fish and like 10 of them were all over the bait. Yeah. And I was like putting new baits out, putting dead baits out, like making sure everything was right every single drift. And of course, like pogies being pogies, you have some ups, but I was just like shocked. Like more markage than I've ever had down there in the bay.
Usually you mark a half a dozen, you catch one.
You catch one.
Yeah.
But, and then there were guys that, had it like clockwork for a week straight.
Yeah, they did well. They got a bite.
But they also had the time.
Yes.
And we have time and we put a lot of days on the water, but we can't fish till sunset.
No.
And I feel like a lot of that is so light driven on the pogies, especially like once the ones they were eating were like truly coming out of the harbors and not just like that ribbon that was just stuck in the middle of the bay for the whole summer. I feel like it becomes very light driven at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
because I feel like they need every advantage they have to go in that shallow to feed.
Right. And more than half those bites were after 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like how many times it was like, oh, it was kind of slow in the bay, or, we were on the bank and it was kind of slow in the bank, kind of slow in the bay. And then you'd hear like half a dozen guys got them at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night. And it's like, well, you feel it's sucky, as a charter boat, but it's like you have to go out in the dark in the morning because like a lot of times the bite's in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like you can't go out in the dark in the morning and come back in the dark in the evening 7 days a week.
No, you would die.
You would die.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked because it seemed like there was a chunk of bites that we couldn't get. So like we would just eliminate those. You and I would talk every day.
I feel like I've eliminated.
Oh, he caught one. He caught one. It's like, yeah, those don't count.
Yeah, those don't
it's like
matter.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, those don't matter. Those are after hours. Too,
yeah. If we were doing it for a living.
Yeah. And then when you're only fishing those open days and you get rest days in between, like you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that. You can go out dark to dark every day.
Right.
Spend the night, whatever you need to do. But when you're doing like 4 tuna trips, then a double bass kids trip, and then another tuna trip, and like you've broken down the tuna rods to pull the bass shit out, and then you got to redo everything for the next day. It's just like, we don't need to preach to the choir here, but it's a lot. There's only so much you can do, really, So
that definitely limited us a little bit.
But I don't know. I feel like it was a hard year, not just fishing, but I feel like charters were definitely a little slower, not just for us, but for everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like people were very aggressive on going on vacations / local adventures and things like that, since I hate even talking about it, but COVID.
Right.
And now we're whatever 5-6 years past that, and just with the way things have been in the world and in our country, it's like you're like 20% down, 30% down. Looking at myself, I know I am. Like I'm not going out and doing like crazy fun shit all the time and all that. We also do have a 1-year-old, and you're a dad yourself, but still, I feel like we're definitely a little bit more low key the last year, and I feel like we felt that on charters.
I think a lot of that is the fishing.
Yeah, that too.
It's very easy to post how amazing the fishing is and getting someone last minute or to fill up the next week if you have a few open days. We tried doing that, but it's like you're not gonna lie to people saying it's like the best tuna fishing you've ever seen when it's not.
And when you have return customers that have had success with you tuna fishing,
right,
it's hard to be like, well, the tuna fishing's slow, but if you want to go striper fishing,
yes,
we can do that. And they're like, well,
we want a tuna fish.
We want a tuna fish.
It's like, all right, well, I mean, we can go.
Yeah.
And they'll usually like 99% of them were great. They just wanted to go tuna fishing. They knew, most of the people know that the bite was good or bad or whatever locally. So
yeah,
it was fine. And honestly, the shark fishing was phenomenal.
Yeah, we did dial in our shark fishing fun.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we caught...
You had sharks eating sharks one day.
Dude, I had a beagle. This is the truth. I had a...
This is the truth.
I had a 65-inch poor beagle shark tied off, still trying to eat the boat. And it was already gutted. We had 4 blue sharks on our bottom fishing rods. The other 2 guys had pollock on, about to get eaten by blue sharks. So we had 6. We had a poor beagle tied off. We had 4 sharks on, 2 guys on bottom fishing rods, fighting fish. They were about to catch sharks. And then I hear something. I look over, and there's another shark eating our poor beagle shark. So then I had to put the boat in gear, break the 4 blue sharks off to run, because I had to drive away. They were eating the blue shark while I was like trolling speed. So then I had to go up on a plane so he wouldn't eat the poor beagle that we like killed, obviously, to eat.
Yeah.
It was insane. I mean, it was like worse than Florida from what I've seen a few of the days. But the bottom fishing was good some of those days. But the shark fishing was amazing. I mean, we had clients that like actually wanted to target poor beagles or whatever.
We caught, saw, and killed more poor beagles this past year than we have in the last 5 to 10 years combined.
Oh, at least.
At least.
I mean, a couple of those days, dude, we had like 6 to 10 poor beagle sharks in one day.
Mm-hmm.
All different sizes.
Yeah.
And mostly, what was nice, they were mostly like 58 to...
Perfect
70 inches. Like
you weren't trying to purposely break them off at the boat.
Dude, we had a few. I think you were with me one of them where we lost one at like the very end of the day. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
The guy wanted a poor beagle bad, and we were like catching bottom fish and stuff, and we stopped on a random...
Is that the Pollock World Day?
Yeah, we had some fun.
Because we caught a couple blue sharks and we lost that poor beagle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We lost a beagle at the boat. Not at the boat, like... I think it was like a 250 pounder.
It just dumped and then the hook pulled.
Yes.
And we saw it eat.
Yeah. You and I were both like, no,
don't eat it.
Because like I love bringing a shark home for the customers, but like at the very last minute of the day when like you can't let him like die.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you got to kill a shark the last minute, and it takes an hour to 2 hours for this thing to die.
Yeah.
Then you got to bring it in here.
And you want it a little cold before you cut it.
You got shark juice all over the boat.
Yeah.
It was just one of those trips that...
Taylor and I were silently...
We had the bite, man.
That was great action.
Let's go home. But, no, we had some fun ones. And they saved the trips a lot of the times. People that had never caught anything big, the poor beagles were biting. Mm-hmm. They were snapping.
And when we got the gear dial, like we were fishing 16 VISs.
Right.
We're fishing spinning gear. Like we had shark pitch rods ready every single day.
Right.
And we put them to use almost every single day. And it was great action for the customers. And it was also, it's a great deterrent if you're getting sharked up while you're tuna fishing, you know? At least you can keep a couple rods out and fight one on the little rod, and then he doesn't mess with you anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a lot of sharks. I think there's it's like multi-factor as to why they were so ferocious this year. I think part of it too was they didn't have a lot of competition on the bait.
Right.
I don't think there was that many tuna really on the bait all the time.
And it was cold water.
And it was colder water. So
yeah, you had that cold bottom temp.
and those sharks, I mean, they're mackerel sharks. That's the category they're in. So you think about how the mackerel fishing was for most of the year, pretty much the whole year, all the way into like early December.
Wild.
Yeah, pretty wild.
But Ben and I were playing with, we lost. We had a couple charters in a row where they wanted to target sharks. And one client, we did sharks, I think 2 days in a row, or we did tuna the first day and then sharks the second and third day because he caught a few and he wanted to do it on like light tackle. And we actually had a tuna bite on the first day. We didn't get it. The second day we went out, we caught a bunch of ground fish. We caught a bunch of blue sharks, but we kept losing like beagle after beagle after beagle. And we were just fishing like heavy mono leaders, like 400-pound mono leaders, and then circle hooks because they seemed like they bit the mono a lot better than the wire, and it was a lot easier in our hands, safer for the boat, for the customer, all that stuff.
The boat that we just painted, which we haven't talked about yet either.
Right. And we were getting bites, but we couldn't capture them. So we were like, all right, we got to change it up for the next day. So we went from actually the quick rig hooks that we use for tuna. We went to a Mustad Demon. We did I think it was the 9 or the 10-0.
9-0s. 9-0. 9-0 3X because we had a shit ton of them.
Yeah, 3X.
Yeah.
And they were great. I think they needed to be sharper. Like I kind of like the quick rigs, how they're not like crazy sharp because they won't gut hook as much. But the Mustads are so sharp. They have that hangnail. They actually could like get into the jaw
Especially
of the shark.
for the poor beagles.
Poor beagles, oh my God.
They have a really hard mouth.
Yes. And we found the secret bait for us anyways was a butterfly mackerel with the tail still on. So take the spine out basically. Hook them through both, top and bottom jaw, rubber band around it to keep it closed. And like usually 10 cranks off the bottom. 10 pulls off the bottom, like your bait. So say you're in 200 feet, you have a bait at 140.
Yeah.
60 feet off the bottom seemed like just like a tuna down rod, 2/3 of the way down, and bottom fishing at the same time. And we just had a floater, like it was like 20 feet from the boat. I mean, you could not keep it down there.
No.
And being around the cod, believe it or not.
And live herring.
Live herring.
They love live herring.
Oh, yeah.
Caught so many poor beagles on live herring this year.
And they were eating the pogies, too. Mm-hmm. Like there was poor beagles balling the pogies up offshore.
And white sharks.
Yeah, it was a weird year.
2 or 3 white shark bite-offs. We had a white shark eat the kite, and we ddidn't know it.
I do not know a white shark ate the kite.
We were all talking. We think it was a white shark.
Yeah.
But we were all talking, and all of a sudden, it's like, flutters down. I'm like, oh, we're on. And it was like, it was like loaded over with zero movement at all. Like usually a poor beagle, it's like they do like the spins and like they kind of fight like a tuna or a thresher. This was the kite went down, and it just swam underneath the boat. And like as I was like firing the boat up to spin around, it broke us off, and then it ate another pogie on the other side of the boat.
Sounds horrible. Speaking of
That was
giant great whites.
Yeah.
That day we lost a tuna just north of Nauset.
Yes.
We put baits back out. We were all sad. I hear, oh! I look over and there's a wake that looked like a whale that was like in between our floaters, but like crossing the back of the transom. something ate our far floater, swam at us, so it didn't move the rod at all, swam at us, went across the transom and dumped 600 yards of line. I went to I knew it wasn't a tuna just by the way it was. It was like too steady and too much speed.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a whale. So one of the customers was like, that was a white shark. I saw it. That was a white shark. That was a white shark. So, like, literally that day, they posted on someone posted on Facebook that, you know how there's like the white shark tracker? That shark contender, the largest white shark ever recorded, went around the backside of the Cape.
Really?
Dude, the same day. So I think we hooked contender. Yeah.
That's incredible.
But I went right to full drag after it took like 200 yards of line. And he took all the braid all the way to the deck. I never even had a chance to touch another rod.
That's insane, dude. That's a big animal.
And I don't know, could have just been a whale.
Yeah, it could have been anything, really.
Yeah. The customer is pretty adamant.
It's fun to think about.
White shark.
Yeah.
And he fishes too, so like it might have just been a massive makeout. I don't know.
Speaking of makos, that was one of the coolest days we had. We had a guy I used to work with, Mike. I'll say his first name. Yeah. And I actually hunt behind his house now.
Don't say anymore.
Anyways, we had like a little rally on tunas. Like, you got one at Southeast Corner, I got one at Chatham. There's Shearwater Life where we were going.
Yeah.
Like, we were pretty excited to go that day because I feel like we had like caught like 2 days in a row or something. And we went out to that spot and it was like a desert.
Yeah.
And when we got
crickets,
it's like all or nothing because it's so far. It's not that far, but it's for us. It's far.
14-knot boat.
In a 14-knot boat, it's like you're committed.
Yeah.
So we committed, and we were like, it was like a butterfly out there.
Yeah. Usually butterflies are good luck.
They are, but that was all that was there. When it's only a butterfly out there.
Right.
But it just didn't look like how we were hoping it would look. So we just on the fly called an audible. We were like, let's go to Middlebank.
Right.
You know, it was like the closest like decent section of edge that we hadn't fished in a while. So we were like, it. Like, let's at least.
Yeah. And the bait was great.
And the bait had been good there. So we get there, we put the rods out, tuna rods out. And then we're like talking about how slow the tuna fishing's been. I think we saw like one whale. Like, there was enough sign.
Did we see smashers that day?
No. It was so calm. It was like bluebird, not a cloud in the sky.
Right. Those are the best.
Like, it was just not tuna fishing day. Yeah. Not a tuna fishing day. And we get set up, get 3 rods out. And we're like shooting the shit, joking, whatever. A whale goes by, kind of get a chub for a little bit. And then our far floater swings.
Yeah.
And we're like,
we saw it jump, didn't we?
Yeah, far floater swings and we see a fin near the far float, and we're like, okay, we need to catch that. We need to catch that shark immediately.
Right.
So I reeled the rod in, and simultaneously you grabbed the pitch rod.
Yep.
And like we lost sight of what it was. We knew our bait was gone or our hook was gone. We get the 130 in, it's like chafed up and the bait's gone. And the shark never felt the hook, fortunately. And you put a live mackerel on. Like you like Gronk spiked a mac, pinned it on. And it was perfect running tide. And then we see the thing's dorsal come up. And we're like, it's either a mako or a white shark.
Right.
It's one of
the
two.
We were leaning towards mako.
We were leaning towards mako.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect. Like, we had our down rod, middle float. This thing just slides on by everything. And like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, Taylor pitches this balloon into the thing's face. Like, it is swimming a straight line up where our far floater top shot was laying in the water.
Yeah.
And then it eats it. And we're all excited.
On a little stand-up rod.
On a little 16, tiny little international. And as soon as you set up on it, the thing airs out like 10 feet in the air. And it did that several times. It was it was like perfect. Like, usually you catch those cool shark species on the 130s. So it's cool. Like, you get the catch, but it's not all that fun. This was like a 45-minute fight on like the right gear. It was like a 200-pound mako. But that was fun.
That was sick.
That was a sick day. And then he ended up getting his tuna later in the year. He did another trip. We got like a 700-pounder on the Kite.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
And then on the way home, we were like, we casted the spinner at that blue shark that had the mackerel balled up on the surface.
Yes.
And they had an absolute blast.
Yeah, that was funny.
They were fired up.
Yep.
Those are two memorable pivots.
Yeah, the sharks are sneaky for charters.
Yeah. I don't think people realize that I personally hate going shark fishing.
Yeah.
Like just to target sharks. It just takes you out of the game, I feel like, for so many other things. Like you can usually do just as well catching sharks while you're tuna fishing, and then you have the chance at catching a tuna.
Right, but just different gear.
It's just different gear.
Yeah. And
I'm not like a huge fan of the chum bucket and like that's all you're doing, you know. But
the poor beagles are fun.
It is fun. And I think a lot of people, you know, like they see tuna, it's been so publicized from from Wicked Tuna on TV for however many seasons, and you know, seeing these $3 million fish that are sold every new year, and like they're a lot more like, you know, prestigious in people's minds, and even if they don't have the offshore experience, that's like what they want. But then you set them up on a shark and you're like, you would have been on a tuna. You know?
Yeah, if you can't catch like 100-pound poor beagle stand up.
Yeah, you
don't want to catch a 100-pound tuna stand up.
100-pound tuna stand up.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like we made the best of the season. There were definitely some memorable days.
Yeah, I mean, some of those days on the east side there was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
the end of the season, we had a good rally.
Yeah. End of September and October.
In October, it was like not that many fish, but they were bitey. Mm-hmm. And they were eating kind of everything. So it made it interesting. Like we had more kite bites this year than we have in the last 5 years in a row.
Right.
You know, you're getting high mac bites. You're getting
late in the year too.
Yeah.
Like August.
Yep.
So that just goes to show you though, the water temps.
That's what I mean.
I mean, if you're getting kite bites in August, like around here, they're either eating something specifically on the surface or
they're traveling.
Their temps are weird.
And they're traveling up higher.
I
think a lot of the lacks of markage were because of that, because they were traveling up higher. The way that the pogies were set up, they were traveling up higher. The way that the water temperature was, they were traveling up higher.
Yep.
I still don't think it was as many fish, but I think the ones that were around were like in the narrow part of your cone, and you like barely, like you didn't mark, especially for most of the season until those pogies changed, you know?
It's interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think this year is going to be like?
I mean, we're having a really cold
start,
early winter, which was similar to last winter. But if it is like a current thing, like who knows?
Yeah.
But the winter's setting up to be the same. You know, like this is the coldest December I can remember in a long time.
Yeah.
And the December bite was next to nothing in comparison to the last 5 years. You know, it's waned the last few years, but like.
Sound like it was pretty good kind of mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, mid-Atlantic. Things seem to start popping off there better than like what we were getting for remnants. Like even, I mean, I still saw a lot of fish in December being caught in Canada too, you know, but it didn't seem like as many. I could be wrong on that, but
I saw that one guy, I don't know if you follow him, he's trolling squid bars.
Yeah, there's one dude that fishes like till his freaking.
I mean, it was like December 20th
with snow on the deck, and he's got spreader bars out and
2 squid bars out,
and like the causeway.
Yes,
you can see the riprap on both sides when they're trolling like a funnel. It's pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure that's where Ken fished when he got his record. Was in that same causeway area,
right?
Speaking of which,
R.I.P. Ken.
R.I.P. Ken. Yeah.
Man, the legend.
That'll never be beat.
No,
it'll never be beat IGFA, I should say.
Yeah, so I'm assuming everyone that listens to this knows who Ken Frazier is.
1,496 pound tuna.
Yeah, world record tuna.
Passed away last year. Mm-hmm. Taylor and I had the pleasure of meeting him several times. Hung out with him down here.
Did our seminar.
One of our first seminars. He was there as a guest, signing books. Hung out with him a bunch of times up in Canada. Mm-hmm. Actually, the last time I saw him in Canada, his old boathouse is a breakfast joint in
Really?
North Lake now. And
That's
there's like pictures
badass.
of him all over the wall. And he was at his own boathouse eating breakfast. And all the guys this was 2 years ago, the last like guided trip we ran up there. And all the guys were taking pictures of him and shit at breakfast.
Yeah.
And yeah, legend.
The crazy thing is, and I might be wrong with this, but didn't he lose one bigger?
Something I haven't read the book in
I'm
several
pretty sure
years,
he
but
lost a fish. Either lost a fish or didn't land it properly, or something happened with one bigger than what the actual world record is. Like either the day before or hours before.
if he caught that thing and weighed it immediately, I bet it would have been over 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he had the thing tied up for most of the day and they kept fishing.
Right. There's no, in my opinion, there's no way to beat that. The only way someone's going to beat that is one of these boats in Canada that somehow knows that fish is there.
Yeah.
And they do everything right. But almost no one has flying gaffs there.
130 IGFA rated line.
Yeah. No one has
Chair.
the right line.
Chair.
You got to be in a chair.
Stand up.
Right.
Which that. Stand up.
Dude. That hurts my tongue.
I've seen a few 1,000-pounders
That hurts my
caught
belly.
stand up, and I had nothing to do with it. But yeah,
I've never seen someone like Joe Pritchard fight one stand up.
no, Joe Pritchard's a straight up beast.
Kid's like glued to the ground.
Kid had like, this kid was drinking hot toddies. One night he was sick. We got to PEI. We had a couple good days. Pritch got like really sick, but he's being Pritch. He's like so f***ing stubborn.
Oh yeah, he's going fishing.
Yeah, he's going fishing. So he drank hot toddies all the night the night before, which I don't know what the alcohol is, but it's like a warm, soothing drink with alcohol in it. Mm-hmm. And he fought like the first fish of the morning the next day, 750 pounds. And he was like, I thought he was going to die. Like, I'm not going to. He looked like he did not have a face of pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, not that really anyone does fighting one stand up.
Right.
But yeah, that was funny shit. I'll never forget that. That was funny. Pritch is an animal.
That one fish,
Off Henry Island.
1,000, 1,100
Yeah,
in like an hour.
in an hour.
That was insane.
That was a big
on a
one.
50, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy. So, anyways,
So yeah, next year, I'm trying not to have any expectations. I'm going into next year as like how do I feel like we've been doing it long enough that like we have our routine down and we're confident in what we do and like we know how to make tweaks and like innovate and all that. But I think just like being a better charter captain is kind of my focus going into next year. Just being more patient, being not like always trying to, if you go fishing with us, not like we're not going to try, but like I need to do a better job of judging not judging in a bad way, but like assessing the customers.
right.
And
Not push them so hard sometimes.
not push them so hard sometimes. And I don't push people in like a mean way, but like in a fishing really hard way. I
Right.
always do. Like I had a father and son crew last year, dude. The kid was like 6. And every fish we caught for the most part was over 40 inches. And I think I lost count.
Yeah.
And it was like, we could have just gone and like got lunch somewhere.
Yeah, you just kept pushing them.
Yeah, you know,
More bait.
yeah,
Cast.
get the numbers up, you know, like,
Yeah.
and we were to the point where we were like catching so many, we were trolling one Sabile with one hook on it
Yeah.
because we, you know, wanted to be, you know, mindful of the fish, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
I know we joke around and talk about killing fish and whatever, but at the end of the day, like, we
You gotta
understand
have fish to kill.
you got to have fish to catch and kill.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stuff like that, you know, just trying to be a little bit more refined with the crew and like understanding what's going to make their day great, not what's going to like make me feel like I crushed it every day from a fishing perspective.
Oh yeah, focus more on what people want.
What people want.
What do people actually expect? You know, because like majority of the people don't fish.
Yeah.
They catch a half a dozen bass.
Yeah.
It's a great day.
Yeah.
You know, for us, a half a dozen bass, we're kind of like, we should be doing that every 20 minutes.
Yes. We should have 6 on.
Yeah. Why don't we have 6 on right now?
Yeah.
But like almost everyone is not like that.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Putting a little less pressure on ourselves.
Less pressure on ourselves. The fishing is what it is.
Right.
And like, there's no magic trick. It's just, you got to be out there on the right days. And as our dad says, like, use your instincts and fish.
Right.
But then also combine that with what's going to make these people happy, And some days you're not going to make people happy no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to limit out today?
Yeah.
When that is the first question.
Yeah, we get our limit. Can we switch to other things?
You're like,
yeah.
go home.
Well, first eat your bananas, and then we'll talk about it.
Finish your bananas. I can't understand you. Finish your banana. Oh, the year of the bananas.
What are your thoughts on next year?
I mean, I'm kind of with you on that. I think I relaxed a lot more last year overall.
You're also 3 more years in.
True.
To full-time charter,
yeah,
back to full-time charter fishing than I am.
So yeah, the first handful of years, I was definitely like hardcore pressure on myself.
Yeah.
If I wasn't limiting out and making it the best day ever for, I always like compare the day before. I used to do that, and now I really don't do that as much.
Because every day is different.
And I actually had a lot of fun last year just trying some different things tuna related, just going different places. And, I feel like we always sit the same spots all the time. Last year, I feel like I definitely had to broaden my horizons a little bit, sitting in weird spots and, only because that's where they were. There was a few random spots like on the southern edge and, or just going back to like old school spots, cause like the new school spots weren't working. Mm-hmm. So it was like, what kind of change can I make to make it happen? And it didn't always work, but a few times it did. Yeah. So I think going into the next year, just looking more into what the client wants. Like I felt like this year there was many clients that thought they wanted to tuna fish that I almost talked them out of. And I actually had a lot of fun bottom fishing on a few trips.
Yeah.
Trying to get better at that. I mean, we had some days, like to catch 40 to 60
big pollock
nowadays
with some sharks mixed in
is a
fun trip.
Awesome day.
Yeah.
For most people, and they taste amazing and they fight great. Like haddock fishing is okay, but it's so boring fight wise. Just like reel up, drop down, reel up. There's no like battle to it. The pollock, you hook 2 30-inch pollock on the same rod, like you're actually fighting them.
Yeah.
And I like the pollock too because it was very structure driven. So I think next year I want to put a little more focus on that, trying to figure out like where they go throughout the year. Because I found a few spots, and then a few guys gave us some numbers. So I was like finding them on certain tides in one spot, and then finding them on certain tides in another spot, almost like bass.
Yeah.
They got to be somewhere in between.
Or they're just on the other side of the structure.
But it was pretty wild to see them like show up on certain tides like bass.
Yeah.
It was like,
learning.
Only on the incoming on this piece of bottom, where it was very weird.
Yeah, there's a gratifying feeling in when you learn something. Like you've been doing it since you're little. We've been doing it since we were little. So to have a eureka moment is always good.
I was gonna say I feel like haddock fishing is just, it's so spread out and day to day, and pollock you can kind of potentially be able to figure it out.
This episode of the SeaBros Fishing Podcast is brought to you by Satfish, your all-in-one map resource to help you find offshore game fish like tuna, mahi, and marlin. Satfish combines high-definition sea surface temperature and chlorophyll charts, currents, satellite altimetry, and bathymetry to give you a full picture of the fishing grounds and make it easy to find the best areas to fish. They have a daily cloud-free sea surface temperature map for full coverage, even when it's overcast. You know that one lucky captain who always seems to catch fish even on the toughest days? odds are you're staying right on the productive temperature and color breaks with Satfish instead of wasting time and fuel searching through lifeless water. Best of all, they specifically built their mobile app to work offshore and offline when you're out in the grounds. Just load up the latest charts when you're at the dock, and they'll automatically get saved for offline use when you lose cell service. You can use Satfish your entire fishing trip to track your position and stay right in the bite zone. We've had a couple of seasons to play around with it now, and it's got excellent northeast coverage for you canyon fishermen out there. It's been a great tool for us finding bluefin on our own near-shore tuna grounds, and Satfish is an invaluable resource for anyone from weekend warriors, charter captains, to marlin tournament pros. For just $129, you get full access to all of Satfish's maps and resources for an entire year, and you can save $20 on your first year's subscription by using code SeaBros at checkout. Satfish even comes with a 30-day free trial, so you can try it out before you buy. Level up your offshore game, check out Satfish, and see for yourself why it's the science of being lucky. So my question was, how did first, for unfortunate circumstances, obviously, but how did your first year behind the wheel every single day, how'd that feel?
How'd that feel?
Yeah. Not that you like haven't run the boat a lot, because we both know you have and we have, but this was like your first captain every single day year.
I felt like it was easier a little bit.
Easier?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times it was, a lot of strategizing between Dad and I, like, hey, should we do this? Should we do that? It was kind of like, all right,
this is what we're doing.
This is what we're going to do. We may fail.
Yeah.
So it was kind of easier that way. Definitely not the best year I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it was for everyone. I mean, I think I can say for every person in Massachusetts and probably a little north of that.
Charter guy in Massachusetts, you mean?
Charter, tuna fisherman.
Avid fisherman.
It was probably one of the hardest years they've ever had. I'm going to say at least 75% of the people that have been doing it for a while are going to feel that way. So as far as like the first year fishing every day, running the boat every single day, it was not the easiest. So I felt like there was a lot of like extra pressure. I never felt like I needed to prove myself, which was weird.
Yeah.
Like I thought like going in like, oh,
I got to catch 100.
I need to smash them, but I was kind of like, I already felt like I proved myself years ago. So kind of that part of it never happened. It was just
proved yourself to yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It just was the hardest part was that I couldn't perform. Yeah. It was like, I'm trying to think of a comparison, but it was like being a really great comedian, but like no stage to be funny on. Yeah. It was like, I'm a very good fisherman, but like there was no tunas to like consistently catch. Yeah. Where we could fish. Yeah. And I definitely had a few moments when I was like, we need to change. Something has to change. Like we need to either start like, giving people like serious options of doing something else or like something, because there was a few days, you go 3, 4, 5 days in a row of hardcore tuna fishing and you don't get bit and you're like, you start to feel a little weird, with for customers paying you to go when and I know that any second you can get bit. So you have to keep trying, but there was a lot of days that I didn't put a lot of time in tuna fishing this year, which, put a lot more work made a lot more work for like the mate for the day or the boat for the day, the gear, like fuel money, like all that stuff.
It feels more like work.
Way more like work, because it was like, all right, hey guys, like we could catch a tuna if we sit all day. you know, or we could not. Do you want to just put in a few hours and then do something else? And a few of the days, like I made the call, like, no, we're not tuna fishing anymore. We're going to go do something else. Like, and it ended up being great. Like the people had a good day.
Yeah.
But in years past, I wouldn't have done that because like the fishing was just a little more normal, you know? But we're also jaded because like talking to guys that have done it their whole lives, these years are going to happen.
They're going to, and we've seen these years happen.
We have to be able to shift. That's all.
We've seen these years happen. Granted, we didn't have the time on the water that we do now. Like accumulatively.
Because you can see what could have happened.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess like when you're in it every day and you see it happen, it puts a lot more pressure on yourself than if you're only fishing 20 to 30 days a year and it's happening, you know?
Yeah. And you're also balancing, you know, running the boat was really hard this year, balancing the conversations with the people. Like, how's the fishing been? It's like, overall, we're catching stuff, but like what you want to catch, hasn't been the greatest this year.
Yeah.
There's no way around it because you don't want to lose them as a client. You want to still bring them out, you know, so you're kind of playing that, like, you need to make money. You don't want to lose a client and piss someone off. You want them to have a great day, catch stuff. So I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of us in our family have ever had to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because we could catch stuff. This year, there was days, no matter how hard you tried, no matter how good you were, you just could not get a bite because there just weren't enough fish around.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to drive hours and go somewhere else. And we can't really do that with the kind of operation we had, whatever.
That day boat operation, you can't be running
5 hours, 6 hours.
5 hours, 6 hours somewhere.
Each way.
Yeah. I mean, the only way you could do it is if you had someone for like a week.
Yeah.
And you shack up somewhere else.
This is not our clients though.
No.
So other than that,
it's kind of a good thing though. Like having that much change. So for those of you who don't know, this is our first year without having OG fishing with us. He's thriving, doing well now, but he had some health issues, and this was like his first year ever in his life never fishing.
Right.
A single day.
Actually, he went fishing one day in the river.
Yeah.
He caught 2 bass, the first bass of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of, you know, it's such a busy time for us, those 5 or 6 months. Like you're constantly thinking about that, but you don't really have time to think about it. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
So that was definitely a challenge right from the get-go. But, you know, we've been doing this so long as a family. It's like everything's so routine every year from the prep to the, you know, the tidy up at the end of the season. I didn't feel like stressed from like that perspective. It was just like, you know,
He took the right year off.
He took the right year off. And of course he's giving us shit. He's like, "Oh, just go sit here, go sit there. There are no tuna within 50 miles of that spot."
I know.
You know? And he was having such a tough time like processing that, and he couldn't lay his own eyes on it. So he's just taking our word for it. And like he trusts us, obviously. I mean, like he's built this thing from the ground up, and you know, it's a great operation. It's a lot of trust to put in someone, but I think he has that with us. But yeah, it was a challenging year for many different reasons, but a good learning year. Like I feel like having that pressure put on you makes you think a lot differently going into next year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the only changes I would have done is maybe just not push so hard with tuna to start.
Yeah, it's hard to do though.
But it's hard because people want to tuna
and
fish.
It's our favorite thing to do.
I know.
And
you don't know.
And you don't know.
You go out
the
and
next day it could be on fire. And we've seen that so many times.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, it was just a slow build up.
And you
all
can't
year.
be good if you're not optimistic.
Yeah.
If you're just constantly like, there's no tuna. It's frustrating. I mean, like, I'll be honest, like, I love our crew. Everyone did an awesome job and on a grindy year and worked hard, and they were funny, and like they pulled from down deep to get through some like really boring days. But we've also been doing this a lot longer than some of the people that are working for us. So like you can see it on their face that they're like,
right,
this isn't going to happen today. This isn't going to happen today.
Yeah.
And it just builds in a negative way over time if you constantly have that mindset.
Yeah.
Because then you're complacent, right? Because then when it happens, you're not everything like this. That's truly the way we fish and how systematic we are and how attentive to detail that we are is 4 years like last year.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to capitalize
on every bite
that you possibly can, because you're not getting 4 bites in a day.
No,
you might get 1 sniff in a day, you know? So it's hard to translate that to some people that have only been doing this for, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And we've been doing it repetitively, I'd say, for the last 10 years with a lot of time, but like we've experienced it and been around it for so long.
Yeah, 20
plus years.
Yeah.
That we know that when it happens, like you can't be worrying about shit. You just need to be focused on the program,
Assume it's going to happen.
It's like that in any fishery. Like if you want to be consistent and top level in any fishery, or in anything that you do.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared, to capitalize on that one opportunity.
Right.
It's
tough. It's because it's grindy. I mean, you're doing 12 hours kind of expecting not to get bit some days last year, And
then you start getting superstitious and you're like, we don't need to do that today. It doesn't matter. Like,
or we're in the wrong spot.
We're in the wrong spot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I feel like this podcast is making it sound like we didn't catch anything.
We caught shit.
We caught a bunch of bunch of tunas, a bunch of bass, a bunch of sharks.
I think we can bring it back. Like, what would you grade each species of fishing? I would give bass personally like an A- last year.
Yeah. I would say,
even though we said like,
some of the race point bass fishing was bananas good.
Yeah. And some of the race point bass fishing was bananas frustrating.
Frustrating too, yeah.
I'm
going to say bass was like a B, only because of the spring grind where like it was short windows.
Spring was a B, summer till when they like left.
Was
like
great.
Once that biomass left,
you could always find fish.
It was like A fishing. Yeah. It was awesome.
Kind of weird though. Like we went to rocks that normally produce and there was like nothing. Besides the point. Yeah, I'd say bass was pretty good.
Tuna was a C.
Tuna was a solid C. Bottom fishing, I don't know. I had some days that was like an A and some days that was a D.
Yeah. Shark fishing was consistent B+ all year.
Oh yeah. Probably better
with a lot of A
like if
days.
You wanted to catch sharks, it was an A+.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you weren't not trying to catch sharks, it was still a B.
Bait fishing was an A.
Yeah.
Bait fishing was an A. There was so much bait. I mean,
although the lack of herring for the actual like season was kind of frustrating.
Which was surprising with the colder water too.
I know.
You'd think that there would be a shit ton of them.
But
they
spawn in that warmer water.
Yeah, true.
Like they go,
Very true. But as far as setting up, like on paper, the water temperature for August and September was like, there's going to be 1 million tunas here. It's like 60s. Like that's what you want.
Remember Middlebank? It was top to bottom herring.
Yeah.
Southwest corner, top to bottom herring. And then it was, I think, I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Jeffries was top to bottom herring in some spots. Just no fish on any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the biggest thing I've learned this year is you can't count your chickens for sure.
Yeah, no.
It's up to the animal
and the conditions
to decide what is going to happen.
Mother Nature rules it all.
Which brings us to our next conversation, deer hunting.
You've been frothing to talk about this.
I just want to tell everybody how frustrating of a year I had deer hunting.
So Taylor comes off. We all come off a very grindy fishing season, albeit, you know, we're focusing on the changes we experienced this year, but it was a great year. It was a good year. There was a lot of highlights.
Excited for next year. Excited for the clients.
I know we'll end up talking about more stories and fish caught, you know, throughout the year as we have guests on and things.
Right.
But for it to go from the grindiest tuna fishing, which is like our favorite thing to do, into like one of our new favorite things to do, and still have it be frustrating.
Yeah.
Dude, I felt like
not even that. It's like, I don't know. This is only my third year hunting.
Yeah.
Essentially. And it sounded like it was frustrating for a lot of people and slow for a lot of people, but I don't know if that's just like the norm.
It's tough
discussion.
to gauge because it's not the same network as it is.
Yeah.
Like it kind of is, and like the territorial aspect of it is, and like the sharing enough information and not sharing information is very similar. But yes, like from guys that we talked to kind of all over our state, it seemed like it was tough.
Right.
Tougher, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. I had a blast, but
yeah, I mean, you had so many encounters, and like, it's just fun. It's nice to be by yourself after being with, like, I love people, but we've said this, like, I don't want to see another human for like a month straight after fishing season, aside from my family and like close friends. Like, right. I really don't. I'd rather be by myself.
Right.
You know, and that accomplishes that for me.
Yeah.
But you had some sick hunts. You had some tough luck.
Ugh.
But it's the same as tuna fishing.
Oh yeah.
It's like pulling a fucking hook on a 900 pounder when he's like, you have the harpoon in your hand, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it's harder mentally because I feel like there's not more strategy. Like there's more defined strategy because you can see everything. Like imagine if you could drain Cape Massachusetts Bay.
Right.
And see where the tunas, like kind of see where
what you're doing wrong.
See what you're doing wrong, and kind of see. You just get more feedback on your pressure.
Yeah.
Whereas like fishing is like there's so much unknown. You know, like I don't know. It's relatable, but it's not.
It's definitely very different.
Yeah.
But it's definitely it's like a giant puzzle that can never be solved, which is cool.
Yeah. One thing I will say is if, you know, I know most of the people that listen to this, they tuna fish on their own or they offshore fish on their own. If you don't offshore fish and you like to hunt, I'm telling you right now, like, you'll be obsessed with offshore fishing. You'll be obsessed with giant tuna fishing.
Right.
Like if you like to, you know, bow hunt deer specifically, you'll really, really enjoy, you know, staring at balloons all day. Seriously though. But yeah, I felt like I feel like you're my brother.
I'll do the short versions.
I have like a softer spot in my heart for you because you're my brother.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's nothing you can do. Like it is what it is. And
that's why I loved, because it's like the only fault is myself.
Yes.
Of everything that happened.
Yeah.
You know, basically like three short stories. I had like 5 encounters with big bucks, but 3 really crazy encounters. One, I called in like mid to late October. He came right into me and I had to move an extra like 6 inches to get a shot off. Didn't see a branch in my sight picture. Arrow deflected off a branch, missed the deer at like 15 yards. Big hog. Probably I have like 3 years of camera information from that deer, and he was already like 4 the first time. So he has to be at least 7. I don't even know if he's alive anymore, but Anyway, so I missed him. And then about a month later, so like the middle of the rut, I saw a doe getting pushed by a young buck. Saw another deer there. Didn't know what deer it was. Try to do a little calling to get the doe to come to me. The doe like ran full speed at me to get what seemed like me to fight the buck. I don't know. They ran by me. Couldn't get him to stop. I'm, mah, mah, mah. Ended up yelling stop twice. I said, stop. Hey. Finally, they stopped at like 40 yards, and the doe was, the buck was like quartering away from me, but his head was turned towards the doe, watching the doe. So I'm like, right away, I'm like, I'm not taking that shot. And then he just stood there. So I'm like, all right. I ranged him exactly at 40 yards. I'm like, here we go. Took a shot. As soon as I shot, he already was like moving towards the doe, missed him. So I'm like, all right, I missed 2 deer now. So then my target buck, the bigger deer that I had on camera for the last few years, found his sheds last year, waiting all year, December, basically. I knew that my chance was gonna be the best in December because I would have him on camera and then he'd disappear and then he'd come back in December. And he comes back. So, for some reason, I got him on camera like first thing in the morning in this piece. Hadn't had him on camera all season. And it like just snowed. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like quiet. The wind was right. I'm like, I'm going in this afternoon. And I'm like, he's gonna be bedded right in this area, right? Thinking he was gonna be bedded like where his sheds came off.
Yeah.
Come to find out, he was bedded like 50 yards from my tree. So I get in there. I have to walk by a scrape to get in. My entrance isn't the greatest to get to my tree. But I'm like, on my way in, I'm gonna freshen the scrape up and see if he'll come check the scrape at last light, whatever. Because the wind was kind of like blowing in the direction that I thought he was bedded, and the scrape was more in his wind. So he would, in theory, smell the scrape and not me. So anyways, freshen the scrape up. I walk to my tree. I got to reach for my safety line, and I catch movement in the corner of my eye, like a deer, like slow, but fast enough that he wasn't walking, like almost like bounding away.
With a purpose.
Like with a purpose, walking away, angled away from me. And all I saw was his ass, but dark tail. And I was like, huh. And I was like, that was a deer, obviously. And I'm like, I just bumped a deer out of here. And I'm like, God, I hope that wasn't him. So for some reason, I'm like, I'm just going to knock an arrow. Because I thought I came in quiet enough that I was like, maybe he's going to come check out what the noise was when I kicked up the scrape. Because I like literally put my foot down and then went like this, like super soft, like made almost no noise, but enough that it sounded probably like a buck hitting the scrape. So then I look, here he comes, like wrapping around me in a good way, not in my wind, like upwind to me, wrapping around me, and he wants to check the scrape. Now he sees that scrape was open. And I can almost guarantee you he looked at that scrape when he came in that morning. Mm-hmm. So now the scrape's open. So now he's looking for a buck, and I'm the buck. And I'm behind 3 pine trees. I have like no shot because it's all like thick underneath me. But if I'm in my tree, I have a shooting lane right to where he is. So he kind of like curves out in a way. He goes out to like 40 yards, comes in to like 30 yards, comes into like 25 yards, and I'm like not moving, and he knows something weird's going on. He can see my footprints like maybe 30, 40 yards away. So he's like trying to figure out what's going on. I have this little tiny window, and I'm like, I might be able to squeak it through. And he's kind of he's like giving off like he's going to just bound off, like he's going to be gone, right? Like he knew something was up. I think he knew I was there, and he was like getting ready to bounce. And I was like, dude, this is going to be the only shot I'm going to have. I'm like, he's going to either try to wrap around me in a minute or he's going to bound off and whatever. So I'm like, I have a little window. I got to take the shot. So I end up having his vitals like in a little window, take the shot, touch a branch. Like I saw it touch a branch like halfway to him, which made it go low, and a shot ended up shooting under him. And it was windy enough that he thought like a branch broke or something, but he bounds away, like jumps. And I'm like, I just missed him. I can't believe I just missed him. And so I knock an arrow like immediately. I'm still standing behind my tree on the ground and I can't move. And it was like that snow that's like quiet enough to walk, but like crunchy leaves underneath. So like I couldn't really like walk around to try to see what was going on or like get cover.
Yeah.
So I take my phone out and I text Emily and I'm like, I literally just missed them. And she's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and he just like ran off. So then I'm like, well, I might as well text Brian while I'm down here. Now I'm like, should I just walk home? Like walk back to my truck? So like he doesn't try to like win me or anything like that. I'm like, no, I'll just. So I text you. I'm halfway through the text saying I missed him. And I hear like, it sounded like he was coughing. And then I'm like, oh my God, I hit him. Thought he was dying like 30, 40 yards away. Because I thought I missed him, but I mean, you know, it happens so fast that like maybe it slipped through him and now he's like coughing and about to die.
Yeah.
So like he's like almost like he was blowing at me is what he was, but it didn't sound like a blow.
Yeah, it's bigger,
almost like snorting kind of.
Yeah.
I put my phone in my pocket and I'm like looking for him, and then like I catch like a silhouette or something, and I realize he's standing at 20 yards, like almost downwind of me, way to my right, and I'm like, oh my God. And on my phone's in my pocket, and I'm like holding the bow, and he's like this, and he's staring at me. I can see his tail like flickering every once in a while, but he can't see my whole body because there's another pine tree right there. So I'm like, this is horrible. So I felt like handcuffed the whole time. So now I'm like every time he takes a step, now he's trying to get my wind. Every time he takes a step, I take a step more the other direction so that I keep the pine tree between him and me. And he can still see my bow and my arrow and stuff. So I end up somehow like scooching my body all the way around. I had to go whatever that degrees is, 90 plus another 90. So 180 degrees roughly to have another shot at him. So I get myself all the way around like wicked slow. Now I have the pine tree. I see one of his legs and like his ass sticking out behind the tree. I can see one side of his antlers and the other side of the tree. So I ranged his like ass and his foot, and it was like 19 yards or something. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill him. Because like I knew that there was an opening right here. And I'm like, he's going to get my wind. I'm going to have a shot at him though. So I'm like, all right. And I was not shaking at all through this whole process. Like I was locked in because I didn't have time to get shaking because it happened so fast.
You are in it.
I was in it. I was locked in. I was like, I felt like I was getting ready to harpoon a tuna. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, here we go. I'm going to harpoon him.
Yeah.
Like it was on his last pinwheel. So I draw back behind the pine tree. I'm like 4 feet from the pine tree. So I draw back and I can see he takes another step, and then he takes another step. And now I know his whole front half is outside of the other tree. I step and I go like top of the heart. It's at 20 yards. I shoot and his belly almost touched the ground.
Was his head down or up?
Up, staring at me. His belly almost touched the ground, like bounding away, like knew I was going to shoot, knew everything. And I shot over his back by like 2 inches, hit a tree behind him, and he just like bounds off slow, and I don't hear him anymore. And I'm like, I literally missed him twice, right? So not only did I hit a branch, everyone's probably going to be laughing their nuts on this. Not only did I hit a branch on a huge buck, I missed a buck chasing a doe far away. That was big, like a big 8-pointer. Then this buck, who's huge, I don't really want to describe it, but a big buck, old, and very smart, I now missed twice from the ground, not in my tree. And that was pretty much my season. And I had 3 other like encounters, you know, far away, running into a deer, that type of stuff. But brutal.
Do you think you're going to focus on more on one deer next year? Or are you going to keep doing like what you did this year and like general sense that a deer's in the area and then like hang and hunt it and try it, hang and hunt it and try it?
I think I'm going to do a combination.
Yep.
I think I'm going to hang and hunt a lot, probably as much as because I hunted my saddle probably. I think I went on a hang on like 10 times. I hunted probably 40 times, 30 something times. So almost all of them were like in a saddle.
Yeah.
Most of them were in the afternoons because like everywhere I'm hunting, it's like public access, walking trails, like that type of shit. So it's really hard. I've found now that I'm year two hardcore hunting, I've found it's really hard to do morning hunts because they're like feeding on the human trails.
Yeah.
So like going in midday and like finding a tree where like the hottest sign is and then hunting it once definitely seemed to work. I mean, I almost killed one of my target deers going in like the general area where I thought he might be and called, and he like came out and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. But
pretty
yeah,
epic, though.
I think for me, just bouncing around where it looks sexy.
Worked for
And
you.
I also thought way more about like, where are they actually hiding? Not necessarily like rut. Like there's definitely a few spots that I have, I'm going to call like rut spots that if I just sit there, like stuff's going to happen. Like that pinch spot that I had some great hunts at, because there's no way for them to go anywhere besides by me, essentially, no matter the wind. But a lot of the encounters I had was just trying to figure out like why, like trying to think, why are they there? Like, you know, you have this huge piece and this little tiny like weird odd thing off to the side or
weird little
whatever
feature.
Weird little feature, you know, like, and almost all those places like don't have the greatest sign.
Yeah.
They either have a lot of sign or like almost no sign. They just look like this is like a little oasis, tiny little spot. And like, that's what I was trying to find. But I did, because this year, like the scrapes and the rubs and like everything was so different than what I thought going in, that I had to like scout in the middle of the year. Like even during the rut, I was like going in at like 10 o'clock in the morning and like scouting for like 2-3 hours and then setting up on like the hottest looking thing and seeing deer.
Yeah.
And some big bucks too. And a couple of the times I noticed I was going too far a few times, like going in and like I forgot I had that other amazing encounter with him at night when he was pushing the doe back into the pine tree thicket. He was literally like, I had him on a camera with a doe in the middle of the night in this piece. I went into where I thought I literally bumped him and the doe out of there. And I'm like, well, he's around here somewhere. So I found the closest tree to where he was bedded so that the wind wasn't blowing in the direction he was going.
Yeah.
I climbed in this random tree that I've never been in or thought I'd ever sit in. I grunted a few times. Hour later, like the two fawns came out. Then the doe came out. He came out, pushed the doe back into the bedding like 5 different times. Like she kept wanting to come to me, and then he would come out and literally like push her back in. This was all happening like 80 yards away. Yeah. It's like I couldn't shoot at him, then at last light, she came all the way to me. He came all the way to me, and then they were under me milling around
in the dark,
and I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
And then I had to get down.
Some pretty epic encounters.
Crazy shit, but
frustrating, but that's
I had part
of it.
Yeah, honestly, I love, like I've only shot a handful of deer now, but it's honest, like other than not getting them and like not feeling like the completion part of it, it was just as cool as killing one. Like having one come like all the way, like actually tricking one to come within 20 yards of you is like insane.
Yeah. That's cool.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to. I think this was my fourth season. 1, 2, 3, fourth season. But like 5th or 6th year doing things, scouting, whatever else. Mm-hmm. I think this is my favorite time of year when the season's over. Yeah. I mean, like,
it is fun.
It's awesome.
Scouting and like seeing the sign, you know, going into places you wanted to go but didn't.
It's like you're trying to scout new stuff, but then at the same time, you're like, oh, no shit, I bet that was the sign he left when he was here. And then like you're trying to put those pieces together. And like if, you know, there's so many different ways and styles of hunting and like, you know, whether you just want to go hunt deer or whether you want to hunt specific deer. But you know, a lot of the times, like they're running with other bucks too. So like being able to see the sign that you're pretty sure was him, and then you know there's a buck that's probably going to be a good buck to hunt in a year or two, and like keeping mental note of that, so that you can make little adjustments, or maybe you don't need to make any adjustments. You're like, it's just next year I'll be able to kind of do the same thing that I did this year or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't have done what I did last year or this year.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had a chance at more than one deer.
Yeah, if you just went to
went to the stands, fixed spots, yeah, for sure. I mean, like some of those spots were dead.
Yep.
Or like different time of day, even, which is weird. Like, I don't know if you had any cameras or areas that you had a lot of daytime stuff one year and then you didn't another year, but
I kind of feel like, I don't know. I kind of feel like my I don't hunt my cameras.
Right.
Like I honestly, like I don't, aside from like 1 or 2 spots, I don't have a camera that's like near a tree stand.
Yeah.
You know, for like many reasons, like, and again, I'm like kind of talking out of my ass because like we're not, you know, we don't have 20 years of experience, 30 years of experience doing this, but I feel like we've done enough relatable things that like we can make an educated guess, you know, but, I just feel like keeping my cameras away from where I'm setting up is like more like it makes me less apt to hunt my cameras.
Yep.
You know, like I know he was in this area. So like he probably he took this travel route, or, you know, if he hit that scrape, like he's probably working that scrape line and went this way. Or I've now seen 3 different bucks that I've been hunting be like terrified of cameras.
I'm starting to think that the one that I missed twice at the end of the year is actually there the whole time.
Like I have some deer that like stare at the camera.
Yeah.
Like the one I killed this year, almost every low light picture I have of him, he is staring at the camera. And then I have other bucks, bigger bucks, younger bucks that like they don't even seem to like notice or care that's there. Like maybe I'm just not getting like the picture of them looking at it or video of them looking at it. But I don't know. I feel like I just feel like it's like how do I like relate?
It's more of a deterrent than
it's
beneficial.
more of a deterrent than it is, you know, helping you in any way.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the only thing it helps with is, like you said, like knowing that, you know, maybe they're with a doe in the general area.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that probably is the only time I like hunt my camera was when like I'd see a buck
100%.
with a doe and I'm like, all right.
Or you just see the doe.
Or you just see the doe,
you just see like
standing
on a lone doe,
standing on the scrape or whatever.
Yeah, or
like,
feeding somewhere, or like tail tucked.
That was kind of the only time I hunted cameras this year. Otherwise, I just went in and like I said, I didn't pick a random spot, but I almost would sit somewhere, more of an observation sit, hoping that I might get lucky.
Yeah.
And then finding out that I was either like there
or too far away,
too far one way, too far. But I think that I put way less pressure on myself. Be like, I'm going to go into this stand and I'm going to sit there and it has to be this wind. And like, I just went in, I'm like, all right, the wind's like going this way. Like, I know there's some sign over here. Let's try this piece. And I would literally just go in, whatever access I felt made sense to kind of go. I'd go in there, I'd get in a tree super early,
One thing I've been pivoting, so like we talked about, like, what do you want to do next fishing season? How do you want to improve? This year I kind of took that approach to deer hunting. Like, what's one thing that like I kind of understand, but I really want to focus on and get better at? So like thermals was like one of those things, and like thermal scouting. So like I go into spots and like wind check during different times, different wind directions, kind of see what it did. Because sometimes it's completely opposite.
Yeah, you get like fixated on the rubs and the scrapes.
Yeah, you're like, oh, northwest is perfect for this spot. But then you get in there and you're like, it doesn't matter what wind it is.
Yeah, you're screwed
I'm
either way.
screwed either way. So I got to go in there when there's like no wind in the morning. If it's a morning spot, and shoot my thermals up, and then I can hunt it. But if it's
the only way though is to hunt it.
Exactly. Or scout it multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do. Like, that's why I like this time of year, because you still have the same roughly the same temperature ranges when you're this close to like the end of the season. So like when you're going into spots and scouting and whatever else, you're getting like the same kind of thermal effect.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a 60-degree day in October or something like that. One thing with wind that I've noticed personally, and like how I've been kind of like hunting the wind, like, yeah, you don't want to get winded, but like what wind is going to make the deer either go to that specific bedding,
right?
Or how are they going to approach that bedding, depending on like if they're, searching for a doe, downwind side of bedding. But like some of my best encounters and spots are when it's like marginal.
Yeah.
Like when you're paralleling it.
Yeah.
So he's going to take that run or come close to that run to win that bedding. And you're like danger close to getting winded, but that's how you're going to get him to the range to kill him.
Yeah. No, I definitely saw that a few times for sure.
Because like you can go in and scout sign and be like, all right, like this sign looks great. I need to set up here to keep my wind out of this area. But if he's not locked down with a doe or he's cruising or whatever, he's going to come in and out of there maybe differently depending on what the wind is,
Plus I think they circle a piece a lot first, like before entering. So like you could be in that circle and you may think your wind's good, but he won't even complete the circle because your wind is too good.
Yeah.
Like if it's parallel with him and he gets almost all the way to his circle, and now he's just about to head in, and maybe the wind dies for just a second, or the thermals are just right, just a second. He actually completes and comes in the way you're hoping he comes in.
Yeah.
Because like I know a couple of the deer, just seeing cameras, like definitely do that. They take like some kind of a loop before hitting something.
Before hitting it.
And one stand I'm in, he definitely loops it. I'm starting to think that I've been hunting. I almost want to shoot him when he hits my wind. Because I think that's going to be the only way I'm going to kill him. Is letting, basically hunting it on the wrong winds. The wind's blowing from my back towards where I'm going to shoot him, and let him just circle me and get all the way to my wind.
And that's your kill shot.
And that's when I'm going to kill him. Yeah. But he could also panic.
Hit it and yeah.
Anyway, that's enough hunting talk.
That's enough hunting talk.
I'm excited for next year. We have some awesome people we're interviewing this year, podcast related.
Yeah, I'm excited to be doing this. It's been far too long. For those of you who are like, what the hell is going on with the podcast? I have a 1-year-old now.
Yeah.
We got a dog right before we found out we were pregnant. So we have a 2-year-old, 93-pound lab. And then our old dog.
Yeah, you can't blame yourself, though, for being like, 3 weeks late on a podcast?
Yeah, no. We're in good shape.
It's fine.
We're on the right path.
It doesn't matter anyways.
It doesn't matter.
No.
But our goal is to get a bunch done before fishing season starts in May. We've got some good guests lined up. I'm excited. I'm excited to be talking about fishing. Kind of after the way this year, aside from fishing's gone, it was nice to take like a couple month breather and not really think about it. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like excited to get back into it for sure.
Yeah, we got Patreon sessions starting up. For those that aren't in our Patreon, if you're interested, we do like winter bi-weekly
Workshops,
Zoom seminar / workshops.
Talk about tactics, tackle prep, stuff you can be doing during the winter time. And
then we do reports during the season.
There's a good group text. Everyone's mindful of undersharing and oversharing, and yeah, it's good. Tuna tails are starting now.
Yep.
We just got a bunch prepped yesterday. Just shipped reels back to Penn to get fixed. Got the fixed and maintained, I should say.
Yep.
Tackles put to bed. Boats are wrapped up. We didn't talk about it, but we completely refit Fortuna last year.
We could talk about that next time. Like what we did in the process and all that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that. So yeah, we're excited for off-season stuff. A couple seminars this winter. Going to Florida on vacation for a little bit.
You are?
Yeah, we're going to Jupiter in February.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up, month away.
Nice.
So hopefully do a little fishing down there, hang out, get Turner swimming. But yeah, I'm excited.
That's all we got.
That's all we got for the first one. So check out where are some other housekeeping things. New
website.
New Mass Bay Guides website is up. We've changed our pricing and trip structure slightly.
Yep.
And I think it's for the good. We got rid of some options and just simplified things a little bit.
Right.
And yeah, all is good. Anything else you want to talk about?
And on OG's 3 words of wisdom.
Just remember, you can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. It's been a long time.
Always trust your instincts.
Always trust your instincts. And the last one, you'll have to keep listening. Stay tight, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. If you would like more information about today's guest, our episode, and show sponsors, or if you want to order hats and apparel, please visit our website at SeaBrosFishing.com. You can also stay up to date on all the latest SeaBros Fishing content and podcast episodes by following us on Instagram at SeaBros Fishing. Finally, to book a trip with us through our family-run charter fishing company, please visit massbayguides.com or see our latest updates and fishing reports by following Mass Bay Guides on Instagram and Facebook.